Put the toast in the toaster. Where was I? Ah, yes. Cora, the rather naive one, who's never seen the sunshine because all she's been in is in the digital world. Yes, interesting character. Oh yes, anyways, so she is this Io thing, which is vaguely described. There's some sort of specialized digital life form, and they can be vast in knowledge but very ignorant at the same time, which is why I talk about how she's kind of a vessel waiting to be filled with knowledge and a willingness to learn. She's another one of those optimistic sidekicks, only for Kevin Flynn's character instead of Sam's character, like with Ellen Baxter and Banner, excuse me. And what goes into the dynamic of her is sort of that, unwavering optimism. I mean, even when she's going into sort of incredible odds, she always seems to be very upbeat about the whole situation, despite what's going on around her. And she's very interesting. I could go on and on about Tron and his transformation and just, Zeus, the myriad of different characters that are in there, but again, this video would just go on and on. The point is, the whole idea that the characters were very forgettable, and thus, again, this detracts from the film somehow. I think somehow I've summarily proven that, that they're kind of hard to forget, and they leave you thinking and kind of going in waves about the whole idea. And what I really like about Cora is the idea of this being who hasn't seen our world or experienced our world firsthand being brought into our world, and thinking about Sam's role, about how he would have to sort of be the one to teach her about our world and our customs. And hold on, I gotta take this. Yes? I would tell you to extinguish it, but that would probably be more trouble than it's worth. Just leave the apartment. I'll be there when I can. And try not to talk to anybody. Yeah, thank you. Bye. Yes, so the idea of an ignorant character, ignorant to our world, coming into our world and having to be the one to sort of bring her into that, certainly is something that kind of sticks with you with that particular movie. Yes. Yes. If I had to complain about anything else, man, it's shiny, it's too flashy, it's all sparkle and no substance, man. How can you stand to support that sort of trash, man? This isn't Tron, this is like, I don't know, man, it's just too bright, man, it's too sparkly, it just doesn't make sense. That's why this movie sucks, man. Part of that whole new age wave making of filmmaking, and it's garbage. A lot of sparkle and not much substance, you say. Interesting. Unless you're talking about Twilight, I would have to disagree with you on that. To say that Tron Legacy is too bright and too flashy, while, I should say, having seen the original, isn't just being woefully ignorant, it's just flat out wrong. Because Tron, I dare say, it was quite a lot bit brighter, and with a lot of the sort of green screen effects that they used there, it just kind of seemed to intensify the palette of the colors, especially when you consider that in Tron they used specially designed suits and illuminated the set with black lights.
The words circulate in my brain. You can treat this like another wrong scene, but don't cry like a bitch when you feel the pain. It's been a long time coming, and the tables turn around. 'Cause one of us is going, one of us is going down. I'm not running, it's a little different now. 'Cause one of us is going, one of us is going down. This is hardly worth fighting for.
And for the time, it really worked for the effect that they were going for, and I by no means am trying to knock the original Tron's effects. I was quite impressed with them, and is part of the reason why I got into freelance 3D modeling in the first place. But to say that this Tron is just too flashy, it's too colorful, it's too orderly, it's too whatever, insert, adjective here, would be to completely just disavow just all the creative elements that went into this picture to make it, in many ways, a little bit palatable to the eye. Look, if you're not into the newer style of filmmaking that's come as of recent into Hollywood, there's not really a whole lot that I could say here that would really change your mind here. And I'm not by any means trying to make any particular sort of argument for or against sort of the way that it's created, but to say that there's no substance there. When I found such profound messages about the human condition, the search for perfection, and how futile that whole thing is, and the ultimate cost of trying to rid the world of its ills by almost creating a whole new, not to mention the evils of being tunnel visioned like Clue was, and trying to accomplish a task that honestly could never really be accomplished. Also, the whole ideas of the science fiction-y set of it, where the whole idea of being able to transfer your DNA into bits of data and digitalize it into a digital simulated world really raises a lot of interesting questions. Not to mention the idea of the fact that somehow a digital being could become a real live flesh and blood being. Really, it gets your mind kind of working in different ways and thinking of different scenarios, and really sort of questioning things in general. But anyways, the point is to say that there's nothing there, that there's nothing binding the story together, and that there's nothing of value to be found in this story, that it's all a bunch of light cycles and light flashes and things that would make babies go ooh and ah, is just not feasible. It's not something you could cohesively make, in my opinion, and make it stick in terms of just basic dynamics of storytelling. I mean, there's nowhere where it really feels like it falls apart. There's certainly nowhere where it really gets all that boring. I found myself almost as enthralled as my son was. But that's just my basic opinion on things here. I'll turn it back over to regular guy over here, and we'll see what he has to say about the summation of things. Hey, what's up, guys? Guess just kind of wrapping things up. There's a lot more complaints, I'm sure, that I didn't exactly address in this particular review of things, but to be honest with you, I didn't want to make this into a 3 or 4 part series just to try to deconstruct and, go through the various opinions, both on the cool side as well as some of the serious sides of the facts of things. Okay, some Tron fans probably won't entirely embrace this idea of the progression of Flynn's story and everything that it entails, and I can respect that. But what I can't really honestly respect is having seen the film and then giving people misinformation in reviews. You know, like with one of the ones I'd heard from a fellow user who, I won't give her name and such, but, you know, most of what she said in the span of about, like, the first 3 minutes of her particular review of things didn't add up. I mean, granted, it's opinion, and opinion is opinion, but going off of something that's complete misinformation and trying to tell people who really are her audience that this movie is just absolutely horrible, as well as many other reviews that I've heard or read where I cringed, not because they said that it sucks, but because they weren't really giving the real merits as to why the movie sucks. And I'm very much almost convinced that a lot of people seriously didn't want to give this movie a chance before they went in there. And I mean, I admit, I'm not exactly a big sequel fanatic. You know, in a lot of the series and franchise that I enjoy, sequels are either unnecessary or they are Hollywood junk, you know, that are made to make money and to cash in on merchandise and basically take us for a ride, but not the ride that we were hoping. I didn't see anything to really not like about this movie aside from the Jeff Bridges effect that I just didn't feel they fully pulled off. I mean, at times you could suspend your disbelief, but more often than not, just came off as cheesy and very obvious. But by no means did I feel that that was a deal breaker, nor too did I feel that the whole almost completely ripping off the movie 13th Floor was all that great as well. And no, I wouldn't recommend 13th Floor. I might review it at some point in the future. Anyways, the point is, I walked out of the theater even having paid for that crappy 3D, which actually I thought came out really well in this movie. Though I think you could enjoy it in 2D as well. I don't know, I haven't seen it, but again, I'm willing to bet that the action holds up with that. But if I could pay for this gimmick and still feel great about it, then I think that you can all find something to like. And to the hardcore Tron fans, I didn't feel raped by it at any point in the movie. I didn't feel horribly just violated like I did with watching both of the Transformers movies. Come on, people, Transformers 2, even fucking Michael Bay says that he hated that movie. I think we can lay that one comfortably to rest, okay? Point is, if you're looking for something that's very action-packed, but very somewhat impactful, I could think of a lot worse movies that you could watch, especially in 3D. But, you know, if you're just really gritting your teeth about new Hollywood, and trust me, I'm one of them people, you know, this may not be the film for you, but if it could make me enjoy it almost as much as my son, if not more so, then I don't see what the problem with the film should honestly be. You know, I didn't have any trouble following it. I walked away with a good sense of the characters and what the conflict was that was going on with there. And I thought the conflict resolution at the complete end, especially with the reveal of some of the things that you find out in the end, was well worth the journey to get into there. And I felt, you know, it was paced well. I thought the soundtrack was great. Aside from the two things that I mentioned there, anything else people would have to say about it is nitpicking. Oh, and to those who are probably writing a rebuttal to this particular video right now, let me save you the trouble by saying that your opinion is automatically invalid, because I am Citizen Kane. That would probably be more trouble than it's worth.